At the beginning of every year, people and organizations generally set goals of what they want to achieve and how they want to achieve the goal. On the program this week, we shall be discussing LAMATA's 2014 agenda for public transport. Good evening. I am Obafemi Craig.
Thank you for joining us and welcome to the program. I am Kate Harmony. We'll be back after the break. This is a news update on LAMATA Half Hour. The WEMCO Drainage and Upgrade Project has achieved a significant milestone with the installation of the drainage components of the project moving at a high speed. The firm, Arab Contractors AOA Nigeria Limited, is mobilizing men and equipment to take advantage of the dry season to cover lots of ground before the rainy season sets in. The road rehabilitation, when completed, would have pedestrian walkways and bicycle lanes installed on a pilot basis to promote non-motorized transportation. The road rehabilitation project is said to have achieved 20% implementation. It is expected that the road project would move faster after the completion of the drainage system. The contractor handling the widening of Mile 12 to Ikorodu and the extension of the Bus Rapid Transit BRT implementation is working seriously to deliver the transport project before the end of the year. The project is a 13.5-kilometer transport enhancement project to bring the total length of the BRT project to approximately 36 kilometers. At a recent stakeholder meeting, the Managing Director of Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority LAMATA, represented by the Deputy Director, Transport Safety, Engineer Olajide Oduyoye, promised that barring any unforeseen circumstances, the project would be delivered by the end of the year.
The MD of LAMATA, Dr. Dayo Mobirola, said yes, the project is expected, as usual, as planned, to finish by the end of this year, 2014.
Work is progressing on all three lots of the project with significant achievement, which has impacted positively on traffic flow from Mile 12 to Ikorodu. The contractor is now concentrating on building the middle lanes where the BRT infrastructure will be installed. LAMATA has therefore called on all stakeholders to cooperate with the contractor for a timely delivery of the project. And that ends the news. Up next is a discussion segment. Please stay with us.
Basically, what LAMATA does is to coordinate public transportation in Lagos State, and we came up with a transport master plan.
Developed together with the World Bank, the objective of this plan is finding long-lasting solutions for the problem of transportation in Lagos. Currently under its first steps of development, the plan has already proven itself a big success, dramatically increasing the connectivity in a city in continuous expansion and enjoying an unparalleled demographic and economic growth.
Our responsibility is to ensure that we provide the necessary infrastructure to meet the growth, to improve the quality of life, to improve the standard of living, and to make Lagos a vibrant and livable city in years to come.
LAMATA, think transport.
In every society, transportation is an essential factor for business and livelihood. One of LAMATA's key responsibilities is to manage and, of course, develop effective transportation in Lagos. This, the agency have been achieving by embarking on various projects in all parts of the metropolis, which in turn has changed the outlook of the metropolis. The Mile 12 to CMS Bus Rapid Transit BRT system is a classical reference. LAMATA is currently supervising the construction of the 27-kilometer Blue Line Rail project between Okukumaiko and Marina. What about the road improvement projects? LAMATA ensures that the declared road network is in motorable state all year round. This achievement in public transportation have made Lagos to stand out from other states in Nigeria.
Some of these projects have been completed, while others are still in progress. On this segment, we shall be discussing the roadmap for LAMATA in 2014. Our guest is Dr. Dayo Muberiola, who holds a PhD in Transport Economics from the University of Wales, Cardiff, in the United Kingdom. As the Managing Director, CEO of Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, LAMATA, Dr. Muberiola is facilitating the implementation of an intermodal, integrated transport system for Lagos. He was Special Assistant and Head, Lagos Urban Transport Project Office, LUTPO, to the former Governor of Lagos State, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The LUTPO actually brought LAMATA into its operational effectiveness. At LAMATA, he has supervised over 500 kilometers of roads, which has cut travel time by 30% and pollution by 13%. He has implemented the Bus Rapid Transit BRT system, the first in sub-Saharan Africa, which has in the last 6 years moved over 260 million passengers. The current BRT is being extended to Ikorodu. He is at present working on delivering the first phase of the Blue Line Rail project for Lagos. You're welcome to the program, Dr. Muberiola.
Thank you very much.
What are the issues in public transport that you have identified, and how have you been able to address them?
I would like to start by giving an historical perspective of what the former president of Kenya said some time ago, about 50 years ago, when he said that when the developed countries were trying to go to the moon and they came back, and they were trying to go to the sun, in Africa we are still struggling to go from the town to the village. Wow. And then about 100 years ago, Lord Lugard himself actually said that the major problem we have in Africa is transportation. So it shows that the problem of transportation is a problem that has been with us forever. So it's not just peculiar to Nigeria or to Lagos alone. However, in Lagos, we have what we call a national barrier, which is the water. And therefore, a lot of people live on the island, they live on the mainland and work on the island. And we do not have good transport infrastructure, which is buses, rail, ferry system, and all of that. And that in itself accumulated to a lot of delay, congestions that at one time people were spending almost 4 hours on the road on a trip that should have taken 30 minutes or 45 minutes. So it's a huge problem. And then of course there is this duplication of responsibilities, i.e. You have the federal government, the state government, the local government, all of them working and doing the same thing, which has led to this organization, lack of coordination, and all of these were the problems that we have in terms of transportation in Lagos.
The Mile 12 to CMS Bus Rapid Transit BRT Light is one of the many BRT projects planned for Lagos. 6 years on since operation, what were the thoughts behind the transport system? And what are the challenges and, of course, successes that you have encountered?
We identified that one of the solutions to solving the problem of transportation in Lagos is to find a means where people would leave their cars at home and travel using effective, efficient, low-cost means of transportation. And at that time, we also looked at various modes of transportation. We looked at rail, we looked at water transport, and we looked at buses, and we looked at BRT. And we came to a conclusion that for us to address the immediate problem then, we have to make use of BRT. Reason being that it's cheap to implement, it's cheaper compared to the other modes of transportation, is faster to implement, and in terms of putting together the infrastructure, the rolling stock, which is the buses, and it's something that people have been used to because they have been using various modes of buses in Lagos. Yes, there were some challenges. The first challenge we had was that people were saying that we wanted to take a road space that was not even enough for them in terms of driving their cars, and we wanted to take one of it and separate it for the buses. So we had that major challenge, which we have to, through advocacy, political championship, where the governors have to talk to people, and we had to do a lot of enlightenment as well to tell people about the benefit of the BRT. And so eventually, when we started and we implemented the first BRT, it was very easy for everybody to see the benefit and said, okay, if we can have a bus system that is convenient, that is cheaper, that reduces cost and give them time to travel faster and put money in their pocket and make their life a lot better, then it's a good one. The successes has been that it has led the government of Lagos and Nigeria to recognize the importance of transport. Okay. I would give a classic example in terms of numbers, possibly percentage. Before the introduction of BRT, the percentage that was going from the state budget to transport was probably about 5 to 6%. But when we established the BRT, it went to 15% because the government recognized the importance of transportation.
Was it after the BRT was launched, or? It
was after the BRT was launched. They now realized that, okay, well, we need to put a lot of resources here because we can see the benefit. In the past, one of the problems that had been was that they couldn't see the importance of it. Nobody was able to explain or nobody was able to demonstrate, but the BRT actually demonstrated that if you put quite a lot of resources in transportation, then you will solve a lot of problems. You will solve financial problem, you will solve economic problem, you will solve environmental problem, you will solve social problems, so many problems that are going to be solved by this means. Yes.
But then, do you have, for 2014, do you have any plans for public transport in Lagos?
We have a lot.
Okay. Any new project enhancement?
Yes. Okay. The BRT that we were talking about was actually was established was actually from mile 12 to CMS. Now we are extending it to Ikorodu town. Which is where the majority of the people that are actually using the BRT are coming from. What had been happening is that they would travel by Danfo or Molue from Ikorodu and then get down at mile 12 and take the BRT to CMS, and then when they are coming back in the evening. But now what we want to do is we want to take the BRT to them.
A 360 experience.
Yes, exactly. So that you take it once and for all from Ikorodu and straight to CMS, and that will reduce your travel time. It will reduce your cost of transportation. It will reduce waiting time. It will help the environment. It will have a lot of social impact, and it will also create employment. So it has a lot of benefits in that respect. And then again, we have the rail.
Okay. I was going to take you on that, on the rail, because we do understand that a contract has been awarded for the rail project from the National Theatre to Marina.
Yes.
But the question is, will this stretch constitute part of the first phase, that is the mile 12 to National Theatre?
Well, rail is a huge investment anywhere in the world. I'll give you some examples. In Delhi, in India, it has taken them 22 years to build 20 kilometers of rail network.
22 years.
22 years. England, their first rail line in London took about, that's Metropolitan line, it took about 35 years to build, the whole stretch of it. And lately is we have the Dubai Metro, which has taken over nine years to build. So because of the magnitude of this investment and the needs of so many things to put in place, you have to do it in phases. You have to build as small as possible and then continue to extend it as you go along.
Gradually.
Gradually. And that is what we have done in the case of the Blue Line. So we have started from mile 2 to National Theatre, which is 7.5 kilometers. And now we are now extending it from National Theatre to Marina. And now when we are done with that, we'll now continue from mile 2 to Okokomaiko on the other hand.
When should Lagosians expect to see the rail running?
Rail system is something that takes a while. And as a result, it is also important that we bear in mind what the major problem of Lagos is right now. The problem of Lagos is the natural bottleneck that we have. That is crossing from the mainland to the island. And when you have 7 million trips per day, going from the mainland, going to the island, and that is why we have all of these congestions. So it's as a result of that, the state government awarded this leg of National Theatre to Marina. Construction have started, and we are hoping that we will finish it in due course. But of course, there are so many other things that we cannot envisage in the course of construction. So until we are reasonably towards the end of it, that is when I can give you a time. However, the reason why I'm saying this is that the rail line, to be very effective and efficient and for people to feel the positive impact of it, is to take people from mile 2 to Marina. What we don't want to do is we don't want to get them from mile 2 to National Theatre and then get them on the bus and then get stuck in traffic.
Exactly.
And then they will ask you, why did you put us on the fast track from mile 2 to National Theatre? So we're hoping that very soon people will see the impact of what we're trying to do. It will be carrying a minimum of 20,000 passengers per direction. So imagine 20,000 people.
To make 40 by equation.
20,000 per hour, actually. Let me get it right.
Per hour.
20,000 per hour per direction. And the system is such that it's comfortable. You don't have to stand. Even when you stand, you only stand for a few minutes. It's not stopping on traffic. All the signals are there to clear it and all of that. So a lot is there for people to benefit from. It's just a matter of waiting and letting us do what needs to be done. And then the benefit would last for a long time.
We'll take more questions, this time from the audience. After the break, do stay tuned.
You know, in Nigeria, if a particular government, the present governor is not going to stay there forever. So what the situation where another government take over from him, and hope is not going to affect the project that is going on.
Thank you, Mr. Omotosho. I have to say that the fear, as you have alluded to, is something that we are all mindful of in this part of the world. Stability, continuity has been an issue over time. However, I think what we have been able to demonstrate is the importance of these infrastructures, the transport infrastructures. And I do not see of any good government that would come in and stop the BRT or the rail, because they would have seen the importance of it. The moment we start running it and people are entering it, getting down, saving waiting time, reducing cost of transportation, then any government would embrace it. They would take it on and continue from there. And that is what we call the strategy for survival. And that is, I would believe that would take it to the next step, irrespective of the government that comes in.
My question has to do with issues on availability of buses. So many times you get to the bus stops and you realize there are so long queues where no buses. So what are you doing to meet the need of the people as regarding availability of buses?
Thank you, Mr. Obarotimi. We are fully aware of these problems, and what we are doing, again, dovetail to the first answer I provided, that you need to make reference to where we are coming from, right? And it is not an excuse, but it is a progression in addressing the issues on ground, in the sense that we are now bringing in a good maintenance culture. We are bringing in a system that would allow passengers to make complaints to us so that we can easily communicate with the operators and get them to put in more buses on the road and repair their buses overnight so that all these buses can be available in the morning for passengers to use. And beyond that, even we've started looking at what we call ITS, which is intelligence technology system that allows passenger to be able to read at the bus stop, to see at the bus stop when the next bus comes in. So all of these are the things that we are bringing in, and tracking system that would allow us to even manage where the buses are, to try and decongest the road. So it's an ongoing thing. We are not running away from it. We know what the problems are, and we are trying to solve it. And I can assure you that given another 1 year, God willing, some of these problems will have been addressed.
We now conclude the question and answer segment with our studio audience. Over to you, Kate.
Thank you so much for being a part of this program and for availing us this time. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
We'll be right back after the break. We hope you found the session with the Managing Director of LAMATA enlightening. This is all we can take for today. Join us next week for the concluding part.
To find out more about us, use the details now appearing on your screen. We'd love to hear from you.
Every member of our studio audience will receive a loaded Lagos Connect card. Till next week, LAMATA.
Lagos, my home. With LAMATA, Lagos is changing for the best. BRT lanes, modern